It's Colin here from Colin's Beauty Pages, and today I'm reviewing Neutral Body Cream. This is, I'm not absolutely sure what the name is. In fact, it's specially developed for sensitive skin, and it's got a big 0% on it. So I'm not sure if it's actually called Neutral Body Cream or Neutral 0% Body Cream, but nonetheless, it's got no parabens, no colorants, no perfume. This stuff is neutral. There's nothing in it. So let's open it up and have a look. My first reaction is that it's quite thick and solid. It doesn't run very much. It's got that sort of jelly-like consistency that creams often have when they're quite full of polymers like carbomer and things like that. So that's what I would guess it's based on. It takes quite a bit of rubbing in, but I think for a body cream that's quite appropriate. Rubs in quite well. Yeah, it's not bad. It's not particularly difficult to achieve that kind of effect, but it's probably what people want, so that's fine. Yep, odor free, so they haven't surreptitiously slipped a perfume in there, not I imagine they would do. Let's have a look at the ingredients. In order to get at the ingredients, I need to peel it off. The legal requirements for what you have to put on a cream nowadays have got quite extensive, so in order to save the real estate on the pack and to retain some kind of design control, a lot of companies do this business of making the ingredients a little bit less accessible than I think was originally intended by the legislation, but they are there. They're complying with the law. Right, what are the ingredients? Aqua, water, obvious. Dicapryl carbonate, don't know what that is. Caprylic capric triglyceride, that's a purified form of generally either palm oil or coconut oil. A very light fraction, very good ingredient for a basis for creams actually. Its great advantage is that unlike things like coconut oil, it remains liquid all year round. It's very unlikely to cause allergic reactions, and it's just generally good stuff. The only drawback of it from a cosmetic chemist point of view is that the name caprylic capric triglyceride sounds really scientific when it's actually quite a natural ingredient, but logic doesn't come into these things very much. It's then got glycerin, that's a very good ingredient for moisturising, glycerol stearate citrate, stearyl alcohol. These are all the kinds of things you need to put in to hold the formulation together, all quite natural as well, as it happens. There's some tocopherol acetate, that's a vitamin E derivative, which is there probably as a preservative to give the product a long shelf life, but will also actually probably have some quite nice antioxidant effects on the skin as well. So that's okay. There's a bit of Simonsia chinensis seed oil, which is jojoba oil. Tocopherol itself, that's actual vitamin E for the same reasons I've spoken about before. They're using caprylyl glycol, which is it's actually a surfactant, but it's got some quite nice preservative properties. It doesn't work well enough really to use on its own, but it sort of helps the preservative system along, so you can use a lower level of an actual preservative with it. Same hydroxide and carbomer, I thought it would do, but a bit of acetyl alcohol, some arachidyl alcohol. That's an unusual one, but it's not really very different to acetyl alcohol actually. And then a couple of preservatives, sodium gluconate, which I think is probably there as a buffer rather than anything else in this case, and phenoxyethanol, which is a preservative. That is a pretty conventional and standard cream, and if you are trying to formulate something to minimise the risk of skin reactions, it's not a bad stab. I mean, there are some people who will react to the phenoxyethanol, but I think they're probably using quite a low level of it, so that helps. There's nothing in the way of exotic natural ingredients that might contain all sorts of odd chemicals that might trigger off allergic reactions. And the total number of ingredients, although it's a reasonably long ingredient list, is by the standards of these kind of things quite low. So basically, the fewer things you put in, the less likely someone is to have a problem with it. So all in all, not a bad effort really. I really wish they wouldn't use the 0% paraben, 0% colorant quite so prominently, but for a product that's formulated for people specifically with sensitive skin, it does make some kind of sense. It's not a sort of total nonsensical claim like when you see 0% parabens on antiperspirants, which would never include them in the first place. And in any case, parabens aren't that bad from the point of view of sensitive skin either. I mean, it's not an area of marketing I really like, but if you're going to do it, this is probably the way to do it. There's just a few other things on the front of it. This one's come to me via Scandinavia, so it's got an asthma allergy Denmark, which I assume is some kind of allergy standard from Denmark, and there's a couple of other sort of ethical standards they seem to belong to as well there, which if you like that sort of thing, it's got it. So basically, quite a nice little offering. Thanks for listening.